friends, and welcome back to my channel, Wrestling with Books, where today I have an exciting announcement. I'm going to be participating in a readathon. Not just any readathon, guys. This is the Murder, She Wrote readathon. Let me tell you a little about it. So, some friends of mine, Abby from the Disney Sisters and Heather from the Disney Housewife. Yes, we're all Disney people. So I have my other channel, Wrestling with Disney, and as we talk about Disney with one another, we began to realize that we had other interests too. One of them primarily being books. But as we talked about books together, who of course came up but Jessica Fletcher. Angela Lansbury in Murder, She Wrote, which is such a classic series, but I hadn't watched it growing up. I heard about the series because, okay, so first off, the TV theme I knew. I knew the theme, and it is a great opening credit. But my good friend Marie in 6th grade gave up Murder, She Wrote for Lent because that's how much she was obsessed with it. So as an adult, I started to really think about, wow, you know, being a writer, having a typewriter, living on a coastal town in Maine, this sounds like the life. So Murder, She Wrote is on Peacock, and I started watching it and really loving that it's like this ensemble mystery, very Agatha Christie within every episode. And what I really like about it is that being, you know, an 80s child and watching a lot of TV from the 90s and still watching reruns of it today as an adult, there are guest stars. I mean, I've seen so many people who have been in episodes of Golden Girls. Okay, so was her name Jane? The Dorothy's lesbian friend who falls in love with Rose, she's in an episode. Stan is in an episode. I mean, so many people are in episodes. It is just so much fun just for that alone, but for the mystery element of it. So on one of our, I think it could have been on one of the live streams on the Disney Housewives channel, we discussed how it would be fun to do a readathon themed on Murder, She Wrote. So what we came up with, or what Abby suggested, was, what if it's almost like create your own murder mystery? So there are 4 topics: the setting, the sidekick, the victim, and the suspect. So those are the 4 elements that make a Murder, She Wrote mystery. Each of those elements have different prompts. So you can pick one from each to create your perfect Murder, She Wrote readathon. If you finish one in each prompt, then you can go back and do some more. But let me share what these prompts are with you, and I'll have it all put in the description down below. If you decide that you're going to do this, you can do the Murder, She Read hashtag, and this way we all can connect on Instagram or social media chatting about it. Now, the first element is the setting. So there are 4 different prompts, and these are settings that you may have seen in Murder, She Wrote. The first being Cabot Cove. So read a book set in a small town. The next, New York City. I haven't seen all of it. I'm in the early seasons, but Jessica Fletcher has already been to New York City quite a few times. So read a book set in a big city. Next is Ireland. Read a book with an international setting. And Los Angeles. Read a book set in a fantasy world. So those are your first 4 options. One of those prompts is where you're going to start. I think I'm probably going to pick either a small town or a big city, but I will be back next week with my TBR for this readathon, where I'll have more possibilities of what I may pick as I kind of craft my ideal Murder, She Wrote episode. So Jessica Fletcher in this show always has one of her sidekicks. So these prompts are inspired by her sidekicks. The first being Seth. Read a book recommended by a friend. Next is Amos. Read a book that will make you laugh. Aw, it was so watching it now as an adult, I was like, oh, the dad from Happy Days. Grady, read a romance book. Grady, so funny how like Grady's just always in it. Mort, read a book that's set in a series. Dennis, read a classic. And Harry, read a book featuring a detective. So I also want to say, because we mentioned read a book that's in a series, read a book featuring a detective, if one of those books are also set in a small town or set in a big city, it is okay to have one book that fits different prompts, because really this is not about reading in quantity. This isn't a readathon to boost up our reading goals in terms of numbers, but it's really something we're doing just to connect with one another through reading. So even if you decide on one book that fits all of these, I say go for it, because it's about just connecting through reading. The next topic is the victim. So this is so funny. Abby came up with these, and you know, it's such a stereotype of the episode. So the first one is the victim, a wealthy businessman with a greedy family, and for that you can read a book set near water. The next victim is a reporter who got in over their head. These are like reading tropes, each of these victims. So for that, you can read a book involving a newspaper or reporter. Next victim is a producer who may have been set to cut some cast members. I've already seen like 2 Murder, She Wrote episodes, and because I'm only on like 2 seasons, the fact that that's come up twice is hilarious. And for that, you can read a book about movies or TV. Next is victim is a maid who overheard something they shouldn't. For that, read a book that takes place in a mansion or hotel. I love those. And the last victim is a professor who was notorious for giving out bad grades. Read a book set at a school. And now the last category makes me laugh because it's the suspect. And the first prompt is for Jessica's niece or nephew, because she always has a random niece or nephew and they're always involved. So for that, the prompt is to read a book about a family relationship. Next is the victim's business partner as the suspect. So read a book by more than one author. That could be a really fun prompt to explore. The next suspect is the new girl in town. Read a book where the main character has just moved in. If you saw my free ebook haul that I posted most recently, half of the books are about a girl moving into a new town. I love it. Okay, the next suspect is the undercover spy. Read a book with a hidden identity, so somebody who's pretending to be somebody else. Next, we have a crooked cop. Read a mystery, nice and simple, and that can apply maybe if you're doing the read a book featuring a detective from the Sidekick prompts, you could put those together. And the last one is the up-and-coming actress. Read a debut book. And it's so funny because Jessica Fletcher, she writes books. She's not in theater, but there are up-and-coming actresses in like so many of the episodes already. It's just so funny. So as I mentioned, the goal that Heather, Abby, and I had for this is just to connect through reading, but also through a show that really makes us laugh and has the perfect cozy vibes that a lot of these prompts will give you when reading. So they have posted a video as well this week, and next week each of us are going to post a video with either some suggestions of what you could read for these prompts or a TBR of what we're going to read. Maybe a blend of the two probably as well. So if you want to participate in this, it's really informal where you just participate. And if you want to chat with us about it, you can message us all in a group on Instagram, on the comments here, or like I said, use the Murder She Read hashtag so we can all see what you're posting and sharing about it. This readathon, I didn't say when it's gonna start. Oh my gosh, I know, I'm so new. So new. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Okay, so it's gonna start March 1st and run through the whole month of March. So it's not about pressure, it's just about the connection of reading with something fun to bring us all together. So we'll be doing videos throughout March too, keeping you posted on our reading progress, and who knows, maybe we'll even sneak in some sort of what do you call the reading sprint, a reading sprint too. You never know. But guys, the office is calling me. The office as in my office that I'm sitting in right here. Calling as in I have to go work, not an actual call. So I'm gonna go do that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you plan on participating. And I'll leave that ebook haul on this end screen here in case you want to stock up on some free ebooks to start your readathon. I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Hello, honey. Hello, do you like Jessica Fletcher? Yeah. Oh.